Howdy, folks. So, I wanted to go over the instructor policies for this course. You should have looked over them already as part of the welcome quiz, but if you haven't gotten around to that quite yet, that's okay. Please remember that the welcome quiz should be completed by Sunday at 11:59 p.m., so that way I can make sure to mark you as present for the course. All right, so as you can see on this, you've got my information, right? We've got my name. Remember, I'm Kristin. You can always reach out to me through my email address, kgosinski@gwinnettech.edu. Right now, my office is my home, so we'll be using a virtual office space essentially. And you can come see me during office hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. If that doesn't work for you, please reach out and let me know. And we can schedule a time after your kids go to bed, before you have to go to work in the morning. Something that works better for you. All right. Like I said in my welcome video, I'm in quarantine. I've got nothing else better to do on my off time. So really, utilize me as someone who can help you with this and be flexible. Okay, so I do want to point out again that my office phone, please do not call my office phone number. I did not put it on this listing, but it is still on my signature and my email. Please don't call it. The information from your call is not forwarded. The voicemail is, but if you don't leave a phone number, then I have no way to get back to you. It's a pain in the neck. So the easiest way to do this actually would be to send me an email, and then we can schedule a time, even if it's like 2 seconds after the email, as long as I'm not doing something like eating dinner or grading papers. I'm happy to meet with you as soon as necessary, or as soon as we can. All right. So there are no required textbooks for this class. We have them posted in Blackboard. So we really won't be using them too often, but you can have them there as a sort of fallback for, if you have questions or things like that, you can always look to the textbook if you don't want to come to me with those questions. Okay. For the most part, videos and our class sessions will be sufficient to help you get through the course material. Okay, so the grade book, misspelled, yay, of course. Your grade book will be kept on the Blackboard learning system, so please check that regularly. Blackboard, I keep it as updated as I possibly can at all times. Sometimes, I fall a little bit behind, but please make sure that you are checking the grades posted regularly to make sure that they make sense. Okay, occasionally I'll make an error when I'm typing a grade in, and even though I double check it, and it's your responsibility to come to me and say, hey, something doesn't seem right here. All right, so let me know. Okay, ideally, you let me know as soon as possible. Okay, don't wait till the end of term, so we have to come back to the beginning of term and figure out what happened. Okay, let's keep it fresh. I will be grading most assignments by hand. There's only going to be 1 to 2 quizzes beyond the welcome quiz. Those will be automatically configured in Blackboard, but the hand-graded assignments should be graded and back to you within about a week of the submission. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how quickly you need the information. All right. So as far as course weights goes, we've got quizzes, participation, and assignments. That is worth 20% of your grade. And then the other 80% of your grade is comprised of final drafts of your essays. Okay, we have 3 essays for this class. One is the illustration example essay, one is the comparison contrast essay, and one is the argumentative essay. And you'll notice that the weights for those go up as the essays build. Okay, in theory, you get stronger in writing as we continue forward, and these assignments, as they continue forward, ask you for more and more information, more and more skills to be utilized, right? So they become heavier weighted. Now, there are some optional assignments throughout term, typically one per essay, which is usually the outline. Okay, and basically it gives you an opportunity to provide an organizational plan to me before you submit your draft, and I'll take a look at it, make some comments for you, and return it to you before you have to convert it into a draft assignment. Now, why would that be important? Well, because of the fact that I grade drafts as if they were final drafts. Note that I'll never call a draft a rough draft, because in my mind, you always submit the best work that you can submit at the time, no matter what. Okay, there is no rough draft. This is a draft. Okay, you submit it, I will grade it, so that way you can see where you stand, and then I will provide comments for you to help build. Okay, you'll get comments from me and comments from your peers in peer review, and together those two things will, help inform your revision for your final draft, right? And remember, it's your final draft that we are working hard to make sure you do well on, because that's worth the most, okay? Now, as you can see, I have a final draft revision policy. I believe that revision is a major part of the writing process. Now, some of you might groan. Honestly, it's my least favorite part of the process as well. But at the same time, it really does help build your writing. You have a few days to, step away from your initial project, right? Get some perspective, get some guidance from your peers, from me, and then come back to it. All right. And that gives you some objectivity and gives you the opportunity to revise your essays to make them as good as they can possibly be. Now, if there is not substantial revision from your draft to your final draft, and I do check this, you will earn 10% less than the grade that you earned for your final draft. So if you submit a draft and you get a 90 and you submit the exact same draft, or you change like one word or two words, for your final draft, then you'll get an 80, because that doesn't count as substantial revision. All right. So make sure that you are revising as we go and constantly working to make your writing stronger. All right. Now, attendance isn't necessarily as important in an online class, but just as an FYI, this is the same information that we use for our in-person classes, right? Gwinnett Tech is a non-attendance taking institution. So, you're not required to come to our Collaborate class sessions or anything like that, but I do strongly recommend that you do, okay? It'll help answer some of your questions. We'll workshop some of your ideas for your essays, and it'll just give us a better space to make a classroom environment in this online space, all right? Now, in terms of accessing and utilizing class content, I'm going to be posting videos throughout class besides our throughout term, besides our Collaborate class sessions. So, make sure that you view these videos. Any information that's presented in videos or in online Collaborate class sessions, you're going to be responsible for. So please make sure that you view them and, know that you are responsible for that information. Okay, so plagiarism. This is a biggie. Please make sure that you do not utilize anyone else's ideas or anyone else's language without giving them proper credit. Okay, for Essay 1, there is no using someone else's ideas or language, right? That is specifically from your mind. Essays 2 and 3 will ask you to use sources. When you use sources, you must cite them properly using proper MLA formatting. Okay, so please make sure that you understand what plagiarism is, using someone else's ideas or their language without giving them credit, and that you cannot do this in my class. Okay, many people have tried, I have caught them, okay, and it hasn't turned out well for them. I have a zero tolerance policy. You get a 0 on an assignment that contains plagiarism. It happens more than one time, I have to report you to the college. Okay, so please know that you should just not plagiarize. Okay, you're all smart, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So use your own ideas, use your own language, and later on, when it comes time for it, use other people's ideas to enhance your own, but give them credit. Okay. Now, since this is an online class, you need to make sure that you have a reliable internet connection. So that way you can log into Blackboard, you can submit assignments, that sort of thing. That being said, I know Blackboard and internet can sometimes be temperamental. I live out in the country, we only have one internet service provider, and they really don't care if our internet goes out super often or not, right? So I know where you're coming from if you have internet issues, right? But know that you can always go to a restaurant, McDonald's, Panera Bread, Burger King, I think has internet now. And even if you're not comfortable with this pandemic going on, going inside, you can sit out in your car, and a majority of the time, the Wi-Fi will actually reach your car. Okay. So there really is no reason for you not to be able to have access to the internet. Now, Blackboard is another story because sometimes it has a mind of its own. If you can't log into Blackboard or it's giving you a hard time on the night of an assignment, you're ready to submit, it's just not working. All right, you know what you do? Email me the assignment. Okay, as long as I get the assignment by the deadline in one way, shape, or form, I'm happy to accept it. Okay, after you email it to me, then just when you can log back into Blackboard, usually it's the next morning, you can just log in, upload, and leave me a comment that says, hey, I emailed this to you because Blackboard wasn't working, so it's not actually late, right? So, please just make sure that you know the steps to cover yourself in case you have an internet issue. Okay, so late submission policy. I don't accept late work except under extreme circumstances. Okay, I know right now there's a lot of things going on in this world that sometimes make life unpredictable and extra complicated. Now, if you end up having a situation that you feel is considered extreme, email me about it, preferably before 8 p.m. on the deadline date. Okay, explain the situation to me, tell me what's going on, and I will do my best to see if I can help you. Okay. Now, don't email me and say, oh, my internet went out, because we just covered the steps to kind of mitigating that, right? But, if something happens and, one of your relatives is in the hospital, like a close relative, and you need to be with them, family is important, guys. I know that, and I hope you know that. So, make sure that you kind of let me know what's going on. Same thing if you have a health issue. If you are trying your hardest to work on an assignment and you get a migraine that makes it so that you can't look at your computer, well, just let me know, all right? And I will do my best to work with you. Don't make a habit of it, but extreme circumstances happen. Let me know, and I will see what I can do, okay? Now, that being said, no matter what happens, if you have an essay draft due and your essay draft is late, then you will be ineligible to participate in peer review. Okay, if it's late and you don't have some sort of excuse that I have condoned, then you'll earn a 0 for the essay draft. You won't be able to participate in peer review, meaning that you will earn a 0 for peer review as well. Now that might sound harsh, but think about peer review. Peer review essentially means you take papers, you swap with someone else, and you both review each other's papers. If you've got nothing to swap with your peer's got nothing to review, right? So you need to make sure that you're providing something for your peer and your peer is providing something for you. So if you submit an essay draft late, no dice, right? So as harsh as that might sound, there is a real reason for that. So please just keep that in mind. Okay, so that covers my instructor policies for this term. If you have any questions about any of these, please let me know. I do take this very seriously. This is the contract between me and you. So please know that these are my expectations. If you ever are unsure, check back on this policies listing, which can be found in the Start Here menu in the syllabus. You'll see it as in Part 3 Instructor Policies. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon.